to the weekend. Hopefully we can line up, whatever sparring we can get the pros and my amateurs
Yeah.
too.
That's
But
the hard part when I get in.
right, that's what I'm saying. It ain't like you just home
Yeah, because
all the
like I
time,
said,
man.
I get back on the 7th of March, and then I think on the 24th of March, I'm taking about 8 boxers to the national championships. I'll be up there for 10 days, and then I fly straight from Shreveport to Chula Vista, California, back into like another almost 2 month training camp before we go to the Continental Qualifier.
Hmm.
It's a lot of
Man.
work, man.
Right, and that's the hard part. If I didn't have my own boxers back in San Antonio, it wouldn't be that hard because my time
Right.
at home would be, downtime. But it's
What is?
harder.
Go ahead.
Yep. I just say it's harder because I do have my own boxers, and that's something I'm not willing to give up because some of them kids, like I got one girl, Yamila, I've been training her since she was 9 and she's 16 now. So
Hmm.
she's really just like my little daughter. So,
Hmm.
it's just I can't walk away from those kids that have given me their blood, sweat, and tears for all these years. So it's just I don't know, you have to love what you do.
Hmm.
Right. Right. It ain't much because it doesn't. You don't get much for it other than the satisfaction of molding these kids and these young people to I it's man, it's the miracles that happen in a boxing gym, right?
Yeah.
Is insane, man, with these kids, man. Sometimes these kids just need some confidence, man,
Yeah.
and a lot of times, the kid might don't go past punching the bag and working out, and you help them be a better person. So uh and that's why you find, it ain't very many trainers, that if they're bad, it shows anyway, right?
Yeah.
The good guys, man, the success comes with putting out people who are better people, regardless of what they accomplish in the ring. Uh,
I've been training. I think I stopped boxing in '93, and I started coaching off and on, and started doing it full time in 2006. So I don't know. I think I've literally trained over 1,000 or so boxers, probably
Wow.
way more than that. But you know, and I still stay in some form of contact with about 80% of them.
If you can
hey,
go back,
remember
if you go ahead.
Jeff? Jeff stroke is so broad. When we first started talking and becoming friends and shit, the guy who was over the warehouse I was running my route out of, we started talking. He said, "Yeah, man, I used to box, man. My trainer is Jeff MAYS out of San Antonio." I said, "Ain't this a bitch?" And I called. Remember that? I said, "Jeff, man, I know this youngster." Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you got the man. I don't, man. I can't do I don't see how I don't knock it because the people who do it and they successful, it amazes me, and so when I sit back and go, Derek, if you had to put out train groups of people like what y'all do at the USA Boxing, the Olympic Training Center, man, could you do it? And I'm like, man, you would have to have a fucking squad of trainers. You know what I'm saying? Like man, I can't imagine having 30. I can't imagine having 20 competitive boxers that's competing constantly. Uh, Regardless of pros and amateurs and shit, man, I'm like, man, I just don't, my mind don't work that way, man. But
Right.
I don't say it can't be done because clearly it's done all the time, right? And I'm
Between
like, man, how them guys figured that shit out? I'll never know. I don't know how they do it.
between Quentin Randall and the ABO champion Robert Redmond and myself, fuck, we keep Derek's fucking head spinning. He can't keep up with
There
us.
it is.
He can't keep up
There
with us
it
three.
is.
Since I
There it
started,
is, man.
hey,
since
hey,
I uh, since I started with the team in 2017, at first it was really really hard until I got a system down of how I was going to do stuff because it got frustrating with me because I would have my boxers calling, texting, and consistently since 2017, since I've been with the team, I spent a lot of time gone. And at first it was just me by myself. So I would have one of the parents keeping time. I would write out my training plan, have the parents one of the parents go to the gym. And here's what he wants you to do. They would record it. send it to me. Hey, look, that one need to keep your hand up. This one, they leaving their back feet behind. She would end up giving them notes. I would text them notes. The sparring, I would end up having them recorded, send it to me. Hey, look, you're backing up, you're staying on the ropes too much. So a lot of times after when I'm gone and we was at a tournament, I would spend most of my nights looking at video of my own boxers, making notes, or looking at training from my own boxers, making notes and sending them out. Hey, look, here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to fix. And I've consistently had boxers ranked nationally. I think right now, out of 15 boxers, I got 6 or 7 that's nationally ranked. And it's been hard. And I got 2 other guys now. I had to recruit one of my guys that I used to actually train as a boxer. He came back and he started helping me coach. And I got another guy, I trained his son. So I've been going over different coaching philosophies, trying to teach him how to be a coach, so that he can find his sea legs. So it's gotten better, but it used to be just very, very frustrating at first, and then when a boxer go to a fight, and if they lose, well, I wouldn't have lost if you would have been here, I ain't been training right. So, I just take it with a grain of salt, well, it is what it is. I've even lost a lot of boxers. Well, you're not here, so I wanted to train with you, but you're not here, and I need that attention.
Right.
Well, if you want me, it's a package deal. This is what you get.
Right. It's a hell of a, I can't imagine, bro. Go ahead, Fred.
What would you go back if you had the opportunity and the Jeff Mays that woke up this morning had an opportunity to go back and I think I heard 2006. What would you go back and tell Coach Mays back in 2006 about training and coaching in the next 10 years?
Let's see.
What advice would you give yourself?
That it's a process and have fun. Because one of the things that I messed up when I started coaching at West Point, and I didn't realize it till I got to West Point. Like I said, I coached off and on since '93. But one of the things that I didn't realize is once I got to West Point was boxing is a process. When I first got there, I got this fire, I got this desire. I want to teach these kids everything that I know. So I'm trying to, brand new novice boxers, I'm trying to dump 109 amateur fights worth of information into them all at once. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't throw a 5-punch combination? I can do it. Let me show you. So I wasn't understanding that boxing is a process. You got to crawl, walk, then run. So after we end up going to the first national championship in 2007, after I was there, I always take my boxers' losses as my own. I own my boxers' losses. Because if the boxer knew what to do, they wouldn't need a coach or a trainer. So every time one of my boxers lose, I always look at myself hard and say, what could I have done to get them to win this fight? I mean, all the way back from the training, all the way back to the corner work, or what I told them in the corner. Did I make my adjustments in the corner? Or sometimes you don't need to make adjustments. Sometimes it could be just a motivational speech you got to give them in the corner. Hey, what the fuck are you doing, shithead? You're losing this fight. I'm gonna fucking put my foot up your ass if you don't go out there and kick this dude. Sometimes that's all a boxer needs. So it's just, those are some of the things I have learned over the years. But, when I first started, I was just, and how I want to say, I own it that I caused a lot of kids to lose because I'm trying to give them 109 fights worth of information all at one time. And, most boxers, they just going to say, okay, coach. Okay. They're going to try it, but they're not going to be able to do it. So
even if they don't understand, they're going to try it. Right.
They're going to try it. So once I figured out that boxing is a process and I need to just let the process develop and take the, crawl, walk, run aspect to it, it became a lot better.
Well, that's some hell of advice right there, and I think that's pretty consistent with what most successful fighters and coaches say. But yet, it's a very hard lesson to apply.
Hard, especially with
it's patience, man.
Yep. Yeah. Especially with most former boxers that are coaches, that's one of the hardest lessons that we have to learn is that we could do it. Why you can't do it? Well, you didn't start out doing it that way. You didn't start out doing it that well. So take your time with the kids.
One of the biggest mistake I see in coaches is that I recognize, right? Is I could be watching a guy for the last 10 years, right? And I'm looking at them and they chase athletes, man. And that shit is like, then you don't understand, man. You chasing the athlete thinking athleticism is gonna make him successful. Where there's fighters that absolutely has happened, and because they're not scientists regardless, and they still make it to the elite levels at professional and amateur. But to watch a coach do that repeatedly, I'm like, man, you ain't even training yourself. You need to train yourself to go, let me quit chasing this fucking athlete, man. It is, and I always liken it back to my one of my millions of quotes I always say. Tommy Hearns walks into the Catskills, man, he gets told to go play basketball. He can't fight, right? And you look at these coaches, and that's what they do. They're all chasing some athlete, thinking that's gonna make them a successful coach. And there's also a hallmark for trainers who have like one fight, and that's it. And you're looking for what else they're doing. It's leaps and bounds between, say, a fucking Manuel Stewart and not, I ain't gonna name nobody else, but just one. You know what I'm saying? It's leaps and bounds between that shit. That he went to this guy and figured out, here you go, Jeff. I know a little bit about training through the phone and shit now because the next member of my family is starting to fight, right? He just got in the gym. He's done with football in high school. So he's venturing off into the boxing. He's still at home. But every day or two, I'm on the phone looking at videos, because I am the trainer of all the boys, right? I'm the guy who had the knack for the coaching. And so I'm sitting there going, I said, man, listen, man, you can't fucking throw that punch straight enough. You can't do it enough times. And worrying about what's next, you don't got the first thing. Don't worry about what's next, because the adjustments it's going to take for you to win a 3-round amateur bout is going to be so minute. Yep. But if you can't do it, you lose. That's it. So watching these guys chase athletes, I think one thing I understood from the ground up, coming from a family with a history of boxing, is if the best athlete wins, well, then boxing ain't really it ain't technical, right? It's a foot race, but that ain't true. You know what I'm saying? That's how the guy who beats the better athlete all the time. Yep. Who the fuck would Bernard Hopkins beat if it was a fucking athlete thing, right? He outboxed you. That's what he was doing. And so watching these trainers do that shit over and over and over and over, and I'm like, man, you keep chasing these fucking athletes, man. That's your fucking problem, man. What's your philosophy? I told my cousin, I said, cuz, first thing I do when I talk to a coach is, because I want to know, I told him I was going to have, so I'm having my partner on the podcast, and I want to hear all the shit because I value the opinion, and I know I'm going to learn something. I can't learn shit from a coach who chases athletes. You don't even got a philosophy. You don't even got a philosophy of what boxing is. You know what I'm saying? And that, I think if a trainer learns that at whatever year 1 or year 5 or year 10, it's going to determine the success you'll have as a trainer. That's my opinion. Anyway.
Oh, it's true. Well, Coach MAYS, man, we appreciate you spending the morning with us. Give the viewers what they can look forward to from USA Boxing. What kind of schedule do they got coming up? I know you're going to Bulgaria. Where can they watch the fights? How can they follow the fighters? And where can they follow you at?
Well, USA Boxing will have a live stream link put up right before the tournament starts to let everybody know where they can watch it. Usually, I normally post stuff on my social media, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I'm at MAYS Boxing on Instagram. That would be the best place to follow me at. But we got Bulgaria, Spain, time off. Then I'll be at the Nationals. Then we got the camp out in Chula Vista in Argentina. Then we got a couple of weeks off, and we come back for another